say, there's nothing I can say to make you believe, to make you believe. I'ma say it anyway.
You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside. From the dust to the dawn outside. So in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, your platter be all outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside. And that's a definite. Cannonball, wrecking shit. Excellent. Rhyme barocking, bombing like the president. I remain strong. King Kong, you with the prevalence. I show you exactly what we do, that's how I represent. Hardcore, heaven sent, chain on, hella bent. Throwing all black when they spot me like the leopard print. Oh, I got the braids in, shades on, made men. Cause we put in work to start the earth until it caves in. Walk strong, talk heavy, hold my own. You rock solid when we bout to leave the sword and stone. Nigga, we warriors, hardcore, tracking the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga, general eyes. And we talking super heavy, nigga, that's the surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word the captain the cod, nigga, we blazing, ripping the mic with all facts, doing the knowledge to the max till we cracking the pavement. UPK, y'all the one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's Harlem, nigga. Talking to all them niggas born in the mud. If you ain't feeling this, you're cold and loved, and that's real. Oh, I get it, cat tie, war, they not of our kind. I get the order, then it's handle kind, not the one kind. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm finna stop and recline. Anybody that come against us, they should probably resign. Cause it's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. I hate these niggas throwing shots, but can they take some? Christ says, sell out your garments to get a sword now. I'ma go and sell off these polos to get a 4 pound. Damn sure it started the war, but I'ma end it. Cause the spiritual war could turn carnal any minute. I remember riding back in the days, window was tinted. But Salaki, I'm done with that carnal shit, I repented. And they bomb-proof the booth every time I'm about to go win it. You ain't know this shit, I live for this truth and I'ma defend it. And I get my second wind just as soon these niggas get winded. It's a war going on outside. I'm jumping in it. It's a war going on outside. You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside. From the dust to the dawn outside. So in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, your platter be all outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside.
Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, flip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in the clip. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns, get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true too. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your casualties. Courage of King David, battling like the Maccabees. Find out who you think that nigga walk to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it to hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this happened to keep you grounded like gravity. In the bill, but it's amity. Horror, I seen calamity. Scar you up for my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me. Fuck them up in they faculty. They words sweet, sit in they mouth and causing cavities. Yeah, it's so cool. None of you suckers worth it.
It's a war going on outside. You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside. From the dust to the dawn outside. So in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, your platter be all outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the ball outside. I get it on outside.
We had the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the command of General Your Honor. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? The truth is the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, tonight, Monday night. As y'all know, Monday night is history. We're going to delve into a little bit of history. We're going to delve into a little bit of history and talk about, how this system.
Move over a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You're good. Yep, you're good. You're good. Come on, go ahead.
We're going to talk about how this system was made to hinder so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand what I'm saying? The system was not made to benefit us. The system was made to go against us, which we see right now. Everything that we do, we seem to work hard. We do everything to the fullest, but we still seem that we don't get ahead. And a lot of us can't really understand that the system was never made or intended for us to get ahead. All this voting, all of these things that we do, this voting that they're going to do tomorrow, none of this stuff is going to help us get ahead. Voting was made for losers. Only losers vote. When you go out there to the voting polls, you let me know how many Chinese people you see out there with you. Let me know how many Koreans or Arabs out there that you see. Let me know how many Africans you see out there voting. You understand? Voting was only meant for the weak. You understand? We were brought here to be property. We were brought here to be workhorses. We were brought here so people could benefit off of us. Everything that we do is for naught. When you go out there and vote, it's for naught. We've been voting since 1870. You got the civil right to vote in 1965. So from 1965 to 2020, which is 55 years, what has changed in your life that you continue to vote? You understand? This system was not made to benefit us. Voting is not going to get us any further than we are. Voting is only to see who your next oppressor is going to be. What I want to delve into today, I want to delve into a law that you vote on continually. This law was created in 1638, and this law still stands today. How people, because we don't understand and because we lack understanding of our enemy. You understand what I'm saying? And because we lack understanding of our enemy, we don't understand that the things that he do is always to go against us. Voting is only to go against you. You're only going out there to choose, like I said before, who your next oppressor is going to be. The thing that we're going to go into tonight is we're going to go into the doctrine of exclusion of 1638, which was started in Maryland. This doctrine was created in Maryland, and then as the colonies grew, each colony took on this law, and they expanded on it themselves. It went from Maryland to Virginia to Delaware to all of the other colonies. But it started right here in Maryland in 1638. You got that, brother?
Good.
Okay, can we read that?
John. Go ahead, give me 1 second. Get it together.
So like I was saying, right? The doctrine of exclusion was a slave code. And listen, it's multiple slave codes. You understand what I'm saying? Everything, listen, let me go into it in a different angle. Whenever you voting for a president, for a councilman, for a mayor, or for any kind of voting that you do in this society, everything that person stands for, you're voting for too. So let's just say you voting for equal rights because this person wants equal rights. You want to vote for him for equal rights. Well, if he has abortion on his plate, you vote for that too. You're okaying that too. If he votes for mass incarceration, you're voting for that too. Every president that we've had, all of them are for mass incarceration. President Trump was for mass incarceration. Joe Biden is for mass incarceration. Former President Obama was for mass incarceration and homosexuality. You voted for homosexuality too. When you voted for Barack Obama, you voted for homosexuality, transgenderism, and all of those isms that go along with homosexuality. You understand what I'm saying? Anything negative that they have on their plate, you can't take something off the plate and say, I take this and leave the rest. When the plate is made, you have to take the whole plate. Anything that they go for, you go for too. Well, every year that you vote for this doctrine right here. You vote for this law. This law is a law that is still on the books. And once you hear this law, and then once you see how we are living and how things are going, the way the things that we go for and what we have and what we don't have, you'll begin to see and it'll begin to resonate in your mind that these laws are going against us. This is the reason why the Most High says never appoint, and I'm just paraphrasing, never appoint someone or put a king above you that he did not appoint. The Most High did not appoint President Trump. He didn't appoint Biden. He didn't appoint Obama or none of the presidents before them, or none of these presidents that may come after them. And because he didn't, we should not be voting. Voting is against our law. But you ready, brother? You got that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, read that.
The 1638 Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion. The Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion was collectively written by the Maryland Colony Council in 1638.
It was written by a collective union of the colonies. All of the colonies got together and they sat down, they put their heads together, and they agreed upon this. They agreed that this would benefit us. This would make life for us better. This would help us to stay on top and keep and give us a firm grip on these colonies and on this country. Go ahead.
And states the following: neither the existing black population, their descendants, nor any other blacks shall be permitted to enjoy the fruits of white society.
It says basically it's saying no slave or descendant of a slave or any person that any black person should enjoy the fruits of white society. Now let's ask ourselves a question. When it says shall not enjoy the fruits of white society, what does that mean? What does that entail? A fruit of white society. The first thing you have to think about is you have to think about a fruit. What is fruit? Fruit is a natural thing that is good in flavor, that helps you, that gives you energy, that builds you up, that makes you stronger, and that helps you to prosper. So basically what they're saying is anything that is good, anything that can build you, anything that can make you better and make you prosper, these African American slaves, these so-called African American slaves, any of their descendants or any person of a descendant cannot enjoy in it. What does it mean, a fruit of white society? Well, basically what they're saying is they can't own any kind of industry, something that can build a nation. Not a little mom and pop store on the corner. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is something that can help to build a nation of people and make them stronger. These are the things that they're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why if you look around our society today, right? We don't own any grocery stores. A grocery store is a thing that can create and build a nation. Now, when we were younger, and this is the reason, this is a small, let's say, this is a small chasm of what we had back when we were young, back in the late 70s into the early 80s. We had a lot, all of the corner stores used to be owned by black people. And if you lived in the neighborhood and you came down to that store, if you didn't have enough money, a black man that owned that store, he gave you credit. What did that do? Well, that helped you get through to the next week. It helped you build yourself up. It helped you save up a little bit of money. Then you could pay him off and get yourself together. It helped the neighborhoods to prosper. This is the reason why in the late 80s into the early 90s, they began to take all of these stores away from black people, down to the point where you can hardly, probably 1/2 of a tenth of a percent of the corner stores are owned by black people in these neighborhoods right now. Go ahead.
The doctrine was written to ensure that blacks would remain a subordinate, non-competitive.
What does it, hold up, let's ask that question right there. What does it mean to be subordinate? What does it mean to be subordinate? It means to be subject under. It means to be subject to. It means to be under the foot of somebody. It means to be in control, subordinate. You have to be in control of somebody. Go ahead.
The doctrine was written to ensure that blacks would remain a subordinate, non-competitive.
It says non-competitive. Non-competitive means you can't compete. We have to make it so you're under our foot. You're subordinate. You have to be non-competitive. You can't compete in anything. If you look at the society that we live in today, we don't compete in anything. We don't compete in the let's just say the car industry. We don't compete in the car industry. We don't compete in the clothing industry. We don't compete in something education industry. We don't compete in anything. You understand? Go ahead.
The doctrine was written to ensure that blacks would remain a subordinate, non-competitive, non-compensated workforce.
Non-compensated workforce. What does that mean? What does that mean? A non-compensated workforce. That's free labor. That's free labor. You understand? And that's a law that is still on the books today. You say, but I go to work every day. I make money every day. Well, when you think about it, think about the brothers that are locked up in the prisons. They make it seem like they paying them something, but they're not paying them anything. That's free labor. That's a non-competitive, a non-compensated workforce. When you go out here and you have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, that's almost non-competitive, a non-competitive workforce. We damn near working for free. We struggling. You struggle so much you can barely take care of your family. So if you can barely take care of your family, you working 2 or 3 jobs, that is a non-competitive workforce. You understand? You can't compete in anything because you spend so much of, we spend so much of our time working for our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? Let's read that again. It says, let's just break it down. It says, no slave or descendant of a slave or person of color shall enjoy the fruits of white society. This is the typical slave code created to keep the so-called African American slave, so-called Hispanic slave, the so-called natives, and their descendants from prospering to the point of independence. That's the very thing that we don't have living here in these Americas and living abroad in all of these slaveries all across this vast world that we live in. You understand what I'm saying? We lack independence. We are a dependent people. We are a dependent nation of people. Dependent to the point where we have to go to our oppressor for food. We have to go to our oppressor for clothing. We have to go to our oppressor for education. Anytime you are educated by your oppressor, that has to be oppression. That has to be oppression right there. Because he's not teaching you anything that can help you to prosper. You understand? We have to go to our oppressor for everything, all of our needs and our wants. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we have to go to our oppressor for all of our needs and our wants, is because we don't follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. Have we followed the law, statutes, and commandments? First off, the Most High tells us, it says, trust not thine enemy. We are a too trusting people. We trust every nation on the face of this planet but our own people. You understand? We trust every nation across the face of this earth. We trust every nation except for our own people. And the Bible tells us, trust not thine enemy. What is an enemy? An enemy is a person who is set out to destroy you. You understand? And for them to set a slave code, the doctrine of exclusion, that's a sign right there that this is your enemy. This is our enemy. Anytime you can say no slave, descendant of a slave, or a person of color shall not enjoy the fruits of white society, that is an enemy. Only an enemy can create a law like that. Not only that, they created it in 1638 and it still stands to this day. Our people can't understand why we can't prosper. We can't prosper because we've fallen under the laws of a nation of people that hate us. Basically, they hate us. Let's you got any more on that? Let's jump to Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. You understand? We set under a nation of people. We are controlled by a nation of people who are set out to destroy us. This is one law right here, but they have many laws on the books that are set to control and to dictate everything that we do. And because they have these laws set in place like that, and because we don't know about these laws and we don't contend any of these laws, this is the reason why we're being controlled the way we are. There's no other nation that you can set out and you can shoot and kill on the street and nobody goes to jail or nobody pays any price for a murder of any of our people. We constantly see this happen time after time after time. You understand what I'm saying? Breonna Taylor. Everybody's going crazy over Breonna Taylor's murder. Breonna Taylor's murderers got off. His brother, what's his name? Walter Wallace, that got shot 14 times 2 or 3 days ago. His killers more than likely are going to get off. You understand what I'm saying? More than likely, his killers are going to get off, just like always. You understand? George Floyd, all of these things, all of these laws and doctrines that they create are created to go against us so that they can control and they can destroy us. You got that, brother?
John.
Go ahead, read that for me.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
What does that mean? It says the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. First off, what it's letting you know is that all of these other nations that are among us or that we are among are beasts. You understand? They are beasts in a sense that they will kill, crush, and destroy you if given the chance. But it says the serpent was the more subtle beast of the field. What does it mean to be more subtle? What does it mean to be more subtle? Meaning they were the more slickest, the more cunning, the more snakish, the more fiendish. You understand what I'm saying? Look at the laws that they create. Like I said, the doctrine of exclusion. You have to be a subtle beast to create a law against a people to control them without them really realizing or understanding what's going on. You understand? But when you come up into this ISUPK under the commanding general Yohana, You learn these things and you learn to maneuver and to get around a lot of these laws. But this is the reason why we come and we have these classes to let our people know. This voting that's happening tomorrow, go ahead.
Which the power Yahweh had made.
Which the power Yahweh has made, which God has made. The Most High created this beast. You understand what I'm saying? He created this beast. And we have to understand that when God created everything that he created on this earth, he created everything for us to be on top of it. He gave us dominion over everything. He gave us the authority to name all the beasts of the field. Whatever Adam said, that was the name of that beast. You understand? We were supposed to have dominion over everything on the face of this earth. But we gave up our habitation. You understand? And when we gave up our place, we fell. And now the nations are above us. We don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Listen, our law, statutes, and commandments rides all laws, other laws. You understand? Our law, statutes, and commandments override all the laws of America. You understand? All we have to do is follow our law, statutes, and commandments, and we would be on top, and they would be on the bottom. Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
He has said to the woman, Shall ye not eat of every tree of the garden? Listen, this is the law that we broke. You understand what I'm saying? We allowed our woman to be, let me get it right. We followed our woman. That's not the way the Most High placed it. The Most High placed the man above the woman. And because we stepped out of the law and we allowed our woman, we allowed ourselves to follow our woman. Listen, it says that the head of the man is Christ. The head of Christ is God. The head of the woman is the man. There is an order, and because we fell out of that order, we fell into damnation, and we fell into iniquity. You understand? We fell into sin by following our woman and letting our woman be beguiled by the beast. You understand what I'm saying? So let's drop that, right? Here, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
Come, you ready? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
It says, go ahead, let me let you finish it. Go ahead.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Let's go back on that. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. Listen, interracial marriage. You understand? It tells us not to interracially marry. But more than that, let's go back to the first part of that. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. We should not make covenants with them. You understand what I'm saying? Covenants destroy us. You understand? It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Who are them? Them are the people that are set out to destroy us. A covenant with the enemy can never be in your favor. But never be in our favor. You understand what I'm saying? Covenants with the enemy can never be in our favor. Look at the Native American Indians when the European came over here and they made over 177 treaties with the European. What happened to our brothers, the Native Indians? They were decimated. You understand? This European broke every one of the treaties that he set up, and he has it in his history book. He's proud of it. So much so that he has a holiday called Thanksgiving, which is coming up in this month. You understand? They celebrate and they commemorate the destruction of our people. You understand what I'm saying? They commemorate the destruction of our people. And we celebrate, not understanding. Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. This is what the Most High says. Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You understand? We make covenants. When you go out to vote, like we said in the beginning, when you go out to vote, you make a covenant with your enemy. Everything that he has on his plate, you vote for. Anything that is set to destroy you, when they set to empower the police force or to fund the police force even more, these are things that you agree upon. You understand? This is why the Most High tells us not to place king or people above us that he did not choose. Going out to vote is placing an enemy above you that the Most High did not choose. Placing a man above you that he did not choose. You understand? Anything that he has on his plate, anything that he is for, you are for too when you vote for him. This is why we should not vote. Tomorrow, getting out there, it should not be a black person at a voting poll in this United States. Only thing you're doing is setting your children up, you're setting yourselves up, you're setting your people up to be destroyed. That's all voting does. You understand? Every year, what do we hear? We hear that, oh, this is going to help this is going to help that.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Well, every 2 years with the council and all of that type of stuff like that. You know, but we continually go out and vote to be destroyed by the very people that we place above us. And the Most High tells us not to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, finish that for me, brother.
John. We finished the first of the first. You want to go to verse 4? Come. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
It says, for they will turn thy sons from following me, that they may serve other gods. Listen, when you intertwine yourself, when we intermingle, when we marry into these other nations, not just physical marriage, but like we said before, when you make covenants with these other nations, you begin to follow other gods. When you vote for somebody, you're voting or you're following another god. You understand? You're placing a god of destruction above you. Because what has voting gotten us? Mass incarceration. You understand the 3-strike law? You understand no-knock warrants? You understand? These are the things that, and then on top of it, listen to what they said. Now they're going to, what did they say, sir? They said they're going to vote out the no-knock warrant. They said they're going to take that off or something like that.
Come.
That means that was on a ballot and that was voted upon. You understand what I'm saying? And because it was voted upon, when you go out and vote, these are the things that you vote for. You vote to be destroyed. When we live in a nation, when you voting in a system of a people that are above you, you're voting to be destroyed. And we vote and we go out to vote only to be destroyed. Voting, every year, somebody is murdered or killed just before a major election. And we think that voting is going to save us from that thing, when voting is set to put us in that predicament. We think that
No, that was heavy.
Oh.
That was heavy.
Voting is basically made to put us in that predicament. And when we are put in that predicament, what does it cause us to do? It causes us to depend on the people that we are voting for.
That's right.
And then in the process of voting, what happens when you vote? After you vote, what happens? What's the major thing that happens after you vote? What's the major thing that happens after you vote? You know what that is, sir?
Major thing that happens after you
The
vote?
most major thing that happens, which before you say anything, and what I'm saying is, it's when you vote, they know that you're going to do this thing, which is going to give them time.
Not hold them accountable.
That's true, right? But it's something more major than that. I'm gonna give you a second. Like, we don't think on that. It's something major that we do that they know that we're going to do after we vote. It's a particular thing. You understand? And I'm going to give a second on that so you can think about it. We give you a chance to think about it, and then we're going to elaborate on it. But if there's a particular thing that we do, there's a particular thing that we do. Come on in, let me get you a seat. Have a seat. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, man.
It's like that sometimes,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, but there's a particular thing. Now, I just asked a question, right? And I'm gonna pose a question to you. Now, there is, after you vote, there is a particular thing that our oppressors expect us to do after we vote. That furthers our destruction. I'm gonna put it like that. You know what it is. It's simple, but it's big because it allows them time to continually to destroy us.
Well, destruction of that, I have a story, you gotta give me a minute.
I'm gonna give it to you. We wait. After we vote, we sit back and wait and we see what's going to happen. You understand? Voting causes you to be content. Once we vote, we put those little stickers on and say, I voted. We're happy. I did my job. Now it's time for somebody else to do their job. You understand what I'm saying? When you go out and vote, voting causes you to be content with a situation that has not been repaired. When you vote, you sit back and say, okay, I did it. Now I'm going to see what's going to happen.
Like you feel like you did something.
You feel like you did something, but you did nothing but furthered your destruction.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Voting does nothing for our people, but causes us to be continually trampled upon.
There's a long line out there right now.
There's a long line out there of people, unbeknownst, not knowing that they are going to continually be destroyed.
Yes.
The things that they promise you, think about it, right? Every year we're promised, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it better for you, I'm going to give you more money, I'm going to give you better jobs, I'm going to give you, and we get nothing. people have been on welfare for how many years?
All day.
I'm gonna get black people off the welfare. I'm gonna get black people better housing. I'm gonna get them affordable housing. Ghettos projects.
Right.
Out of ghettos.
You know,
You understand what I'm saying?
broken promises.
Exactly. But we're relying on a people who are set to destroy us.
Right.
So what do you expect?
Right.
Where we at, brother?
Come. We're on number 4, right?
Yeah,
Middle of 4. Come. Come. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you? And you be destroyed suddenly? Of course. Look how we're being murdered in the street. This is the anger of the Lord. Why is the anger of the Lord being kindled against us? Because we fall into iniquity. Because we sinned against the Most High. We did the very thing that the Most High told us not to do. So his anger is kindled against us, and we are then suddenly destroyed. You understand? This is the reason why our brothers are being murdered in the street. This is the reason why they're being hit off the scooters and being ran over by police cars. You understand what I'm saying? Because the anger of the Most High is kindled against us. And when the anger of the Most High is kindled against you, then you die suddenly. Our sons and our daughters walk home being strip searched and choked out and murdered by police. We live in the ghettos, the drugs in our ghettos, they fighting for drugs in the ghettos, bullets go everywhere and shoot and kill our brothers and sisters.
And that, how can I say it?
Jan up and go ahead.
The punishment for our iniquities.
Speak up a little.
Punishment for iniquity.
Punishment for iniquity, exactly. You understand? And that's what we're suffering right now. You understand what I'm saying? We're suffering the punishments from our iniquity. It's the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Because we sin against the Most High, we suffer these iniquities. These are the things that happen when you go against the Most High. It says that, let me read that again, right? It says, so will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you. So will the anger of the Lord of the Most High, so will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you? Yes. And when the anger of the Most High is kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly, then you'll be destroyed suddenly. You understand?
Yes.
This is the reason why every day brothers and sisters fall like flies. Because of the sin, because of the iniquity.
Yeah.
Because we don't obey the Most High. You understand? These are the things that happen. You want to continue that, brother? Verse 5?
Come.
In fact, Salakia, sir, you let the brother read.
What are you?
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 5. That way you can take care of that, sir.
And you can take the mask. You can take the mask off.
Oh,
You distanced.
Yeah. That way we can hear you. You good with that, sir?
Come.
Okay. I just want, I gotta make sure I stay in overstep.
Go ahead until the brother find it.
Yeah, listen, because we don't follow these laws, and another thing that I want to get into, that's another making of the marriages, right? We just talked about you should not marry or intermingle or make covenants with them, right? This in the Breonna Taylor case, right? What's his name? Attorney General Daniel Cameron. That's his name. You understand? Listen, he is the epitome of making marriages. You understand what I'm saying? And he made a marriage that, in the end, that's that destroys black people, that destroys Hispanics, that destroys natives. You understand what I'm saying? The case that he took to the Attorney General, that he took to the court system, he did not even speak up for his own people. Why did he not speak up for his own people? You know about this case, right? Why did he not speak up for his own people?
Please himself.
More than that. More than that.
More money.
More than that. Listen, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to verse 3. Go back to verse 3 and read that.
Chapter.
Same chapter 7, verse 3. Just back up 3 verses. You was at 5, right? Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Got it?
Neither shall thou make marriages with them.
Listen, it says, neither shall thou make marriages with them.
Yeah.
He made a marriage with them. And I'm not talking about a physical marriage, which he's physically married to an oppressor. But what I'm saying is, he's in, what word am I looking for?
A covenant.
He's in a covenant with the oppressor in the job that he does. And in order for you to get to Attorney General of any state as a black male, you have to show your allegiance to them. Now, when you say allegiance, what do you give? Allegiance. I pledge my allegiance to you. You understand? I pledge my allegiance to my oppressor. So if I pledge my allegiance to my oppressor, that means I pledge my allegiance to go against my people, which is what he did when he presented that case. You understand? He didn't even present the case in a way to bring up murder charges on any of the policemen. But he presented the case as the bullets that went into apartment adjacent. You understand?
Is that serving 2 masters?
That's serving one master.
Oh, okay.
He's serving one master. You understand? And the oppressor is his master. You understand? But the thing is like I said, he had to show allegiance to get to where he was. Even to fight up that ladder to be Attorney General, not of Maryland, not of New York, but of Kentucky. The bluegrass state. That's a Republican state. And guess what he is? A Republican. You understand what I'm saying? So my whole thing is listen, it says, neither shall thou make marriages with them, neither shall thou make covenants with them, neither shall thou make allegiances with them. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High tells us not to do that. You understand what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let me go back. Let's jump to, and since we're speaking on that, let's go to Proverbs, chapter 11. Verse 18. Matter of fact, let's go to 14 first. Let me know when you get there. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14.
Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
Listen, it says where no counsel is, the people fall. What are they talking about when they're speaking of counsel? Where no counsel is, the people fall. What do they mean? What do you mean when you say that? Where no counsel is, the people fall. When it says where there is no counsel, where no counsel is, the people fall, it's speaking of the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the counsel. That's the one and only true counsel. Anything other than that, and the people fall. Look at us. After 400 years, we've been under this counsel. And where are we? We have fallen. You understand what I'm saying? Where there is no proper counsel, the people fall. Where there is no law, statutes, and commandments given to us by the Most High, the people fall. When you don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, we fall. Where there is no counsel, the people fall. Go ahead, finish.
But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. When you come up under these laws, statutes, and commandments, there is safety. When you listen to the prophets of the Bible, there is safety. When you listen to the Most High, there is safety. Listen, we live in the United States under these laws, this Constitution. But if we follow our own laws, statutes, and commandments, there is safety in that. How do you think we are able to go out on those streets every Saturday and speak and not be touched, as you just said? Understand? Because we follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And when you follow these laws, you can't break those laws. Understand what I'm saying? When you follow law, statutes, and commandments, you can't break those laws. You feel me? Drop down to 18 for me. Verse 18. Speak up. Let me hear that. The wicked work a deceitful work. Listen, we was talking about the law. We were talking about the doctrine of exclusion. Right? Doctrine of exclusion states that no slave or descendant of a slave or black person should enjoy the fruits of white society. This is a law that still stands today. We don't understand these laws. And because we don't understand these laws, we don't realize what's actually happening to us. We don't realize, we think because we were emancipated in 1863 that we are free when you're not. You understand what I'm saying? Because these laws that were created to keep us in bondage. They took the chains off of our arms, but still had the chains on our minds. You understand? And every law that they create is created to go against us. It says, the wicked worketh a deceitful work. Listen, these people are wicked. You understand what I'm saying? And every work that they do is a deceitful work. Listen, when they created the Emancipation Proclamation, people thought they were free, but when you are emancipated, you only move from private property, you become state property. You understand? And so, what they did was they created that 13th Amendment to further enslave you again. But they enslaved you under the state. So now, if you break a law like not having $1 in your pocket or not having an ID or jaywalking or doing something stupid like that, you can be in prison and therefore become a slave again. Listen, there are slave ships in this land. Did you ever see a slave ship? Have you ever seen a slave ship?
Yes.
Up close? Where did you see it?
No, I didn't.
You ever seen a prison?
Yeah.
That's a slave ship.
Yeah. Right.
That's a slave ship. You understand what I'm saying? This is Egypt. We are in Egypt again. Now listen, Deuteronomy 28:68 says what? You will be brought into Egypt again with ships. Right? We are in Egypt again.
Means in bondage.
In ships, in bondage. Egypt is what's that? A Greek word meaning bondage. You understand? So, it says, well, let's read that again. It says, the wicked worketh deceitful work. right? But to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. How do you become a sure reward? How do you become a sure reward? You follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. You don't go out and vote.
Right.
You don't go out and celebrate Halloween. You don't go out and celebrate Thanksgiving. You don't eat pork. You don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. You don't get high. You don't kill your brother. You don't rape your sister. You understand what I'm saying? This is how, you sow righteousness. It says what? It says, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. If you do these things, if you follow these laws, you will get a sure reward. What is a sure reward? That's us being on the top and them being on the bottom. Them being under our foot. Us controlling the shots. Us calling the shots. Us teaching them the law. You understand? Them being our footstool. You understand? That's how you do it. You understand? It says, let's read that again. It says, but the wicked worketh a deceitful work. Listen, that doctrine of exclusion, that's a deceitful work. Why is it a deceitful work? Because a lot of our brothers and sisters don't know about it. And they don't know that they are controlled by that law. By that law, you are only allowed certain things. My cousin tried to get a gas station some years ago and got rejected. And then some East Indian Arabs came in and got it just like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because the doctrine of exclusion is a deceitful work. Every law that goes on the books is a deceitful work in America. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we ought to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? Those are deceitful works. You understand? Let's jump to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verses 11. You got an apocrypha? You got the apocrypha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Man, I got it. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
It says, listen, it says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, right? That means what? That means that there were wicked men in Israel in those days. Now, let's go forward. What does that remind you of? Attorney General Daniel Cameron. He's a wicked man. He is an Israelite, but he is a wicked man. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. You understand? Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
It says, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. What is Daniel Cameron doing? Making a covenant with the heathen. He made a deal with the heathen. When he stepped in that back and he presented that argument and presented that information, he didn't present information to help his sister. He presented information to help the heathen. He made a covenant with the heathen. You understand? This is the very thing that the Most High tells us not to do. You understand? Trust not thine enemy. He trusted in his enemy. You understand what I'm saying? And most times, when you trust in your enemy, eventually your enemy is going to destroy you. If they get enough information on you, your enemy, they're going to use that information to control you. And once they're finished with you, they're going to ball you up and throw you away like a piece of trash. This is what the enemy does. You understand what I'm saying? This is what they do. Go ahead, read that from the top. Start that again, bro.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
So since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Man, it ain't even right, man, without us being around them, man. Things ain't been right since we ain't been around them. This is how we are. You understand? Man, we might as well go ahead and make a covenant with them. Man, we might as well go ahead and give up. Might as well turn ourselves in. You understand? We might as well admit to it. You understand? Even when they're not guilty. Even when our brothers and sisters are not guilty, the heathen puts so much pressure on you that you admit something that you didn't do. That happened with the Central Park Five. That happens with brothers and sisters who get ass beat to death every day. You understand what I'm saying? But because we got our brothers and sisters in these positions of power, they make covenants with the heathen. And then they come to us and say, listen,
John.
in order to get out of this, man, you might as well go ahead and admit it. Man, I got your back.
John.
We got your back at all. We got the heathen back. Because he done already made a covenant with him. But he made a covenant to destroy you. You understand? How do you have a mayor? You have a black mayor, a black commissioner, black city councilman, black everything. And we are continually destroyed. Because our people make covenants with the heathen. We make covenants with our oppressor. All of these covenants that we make with them are only to destroy us. You understand what I'm saying? These things are only set to destroy us. The only thing that they do. You understand? Now let's go back. I gotta go back. All right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Let me know when you get that.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
Listen, check this out. It says, but it shall come to pass. What does that mean? That means that this is going to happen. If you don't do this thing right here is going to happen. Listen, if thou will not hearken, if thou will not hear, if thou will not understand, if thou will not obey unto the voice of the Lord thy God, if you don't listen to what the Most High tells you to do, if you don't heed, if you don't take warning, if you don't understand and you don't do this thing, it says what? It says to observe, to do all his commandments, not some, not a little bit, not most, not half, not a third, but all of his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, which I command immediately. Right now, it says that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. What's a curse? What's it?
Tell them what.
Oh, curse is anything that you do. It's a punishment. A punishment that the Most High puts on us. You understand what I'm saying? For what? For being disobedient, for not heeding, for not taking warning, for not following the laws, statutes, and commandments. It didn't say some. It said all. You understand? Go ahead. Salak, yes, sir. Sir. You want me to read? You want to let me read? Read that Deuteronomy. We at 16. I need you to read aloud for me.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
It says, curse shall thou be in the city. It says, curse shall thou be in the city. What is happening to us in the city? Public housing, food stamps, no jobs, projects, murder, drugs, mass incarceration. All of these things happen to us in the city. Cursed shall thou be in the city. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that happen to us when we are disobedient to the Most High. These are the things that happen to us. When you go out and vote, you're being disobedient to the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? When we go out and vote, disobedient. So you have to be cursed. You have to be spanked. You understand? You have to be disciplined. This is what the Most High does to his children. He disciplines us. What good father wouldn't discipline his children after they have been disobedient time after time after time after time? A lot of the time when you do something where you go into iniquity or you do something that you know you're not supposed to be doing, a lot of the times nothing happens to us. So what do? We say, oh, nothing happened. Maybe I can do it again.
All right.
And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then what happens? Eventually, you get popped. You understand? You get disciplined. The Most High drops that curse on you. The Most High puts you in jail. The Most High makes you lose your house. The Most High makes you lose your job. Or the Most High makes you lose your life. Understand? Curses come in many forms and fashions. But you never know when that curse is going to hit you. Right now, we know we're being cursed right now. We're being destroyed in these streets, right? We're being destroyed in the city. Go ahead, read that. Read the rest of it.
And cursed shall thou be in the city, in the field.
It says, and cursed shall thou be in the field. What does that mean? Cursed shall thou be in the field. You can look at it like the city, the field can be the suburbs. But the field can also be the work that you do in the field. In the field. The work that you do, you get nothing from it. When you're a slave and you working in the field, what does a slave get from that work that he does in the field? Nothing. Cursed shall thou be in the field. You understand? You're going to work them fields from sun up to sundown. You ain't going to get nothing but a hard time and a whip across your back. You understand? You go to work every day in the field. You go to work and you struggle to bring food home and you struggle to do things for your household and you continually are behind. Cursed shall thou be in the field. You working with your hands in the field. You work with your hands. You work and continually get nowhere. It's the same thing that voting does to us. In voting, we're going to get better jobs. We're going to get better jobs. And continually, year after year after year, your work gets harder, harder, and harder. Nothing seems to change. We fall for the same thing over and over and over again. Cursed shall thou be in the field. You understand? Everything that you dig and you work hard for is for naught. It is in vain. It is empty. You understand? Because we are a cursed people. You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead, read.
Cursed shall be in thy basket and thy store.
Keep going.
Cursed shall be in the fruit and of thy body.
What does that mean? Cursed shall thou be the fruit of thy body. Cursed shall thou, listen, it says, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. Your children, the fruit of your body, your seed, your children. Our children are being destroyed. Our children are being raped. Our children are being murdered. Our children are being mass incarcerated just like we are. Our children are being aborted. Abortion. Cursed shall thou be the fruit of thy body. Go ahead, what you got?
That could be disease.
Disease, all of that. Cancer, everything. You understand? Cursed shall thy be the fruit of thy body. Your children, our children are cursed. Our children are coming up under a system. All right, think about this, right? They're bringing our children up now, and they're trying to get our children that transatlantic slave trade that we all knew about when we were young. They changed it to the transatlantic migration. They are slowly nullifying our children to the slave trade. They're slowly whitewashing it out of our children's minds. Listen, whenever you destroy a nation of people, what do? You kill the men, you take the women, separate the children, right? You take the children and you brainwash them. Now, once you brainwash them, now you have a whole nation of children or a whole generation of children who know nothing of their history. What do you think they're doing with our brothers and sisters at the border? Separating the men and the women from the children. Send the men and the women back over, or send the men and the women to fight those forest fires over in California, and then ship the kids over into slavery in America. You understand what I'm saying? You get them to do what? Pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Now they know no history or so-called history of their own. Now if you get them young enough, and they won't even know the language that they were speaking, the bastardized language that was beat on them anyway. But now they're learning a third language. They're being beat with a third language. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, read.
Cursed shall be in the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land,
Keep going.
and the increase of thy kind, and of the flock of the sheep.
Go ahead to the next. Go to 19.
Cursed shall be in thy.
Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. Cursed when you leave and out your door. You pray that I pray that nothing happens to me today. I pray that the police don't pull me over. I pray nobody. I pray when I come home nobody pulls me over. Stop. Pray when we come in. We pray when we get up. We pray when we go to sleep. We don't pray like our oppressor prayed. Man, I pray that I pray that we hit the $1 million mark today. We don't pray like that. We're like, man, I hope I live today. Man, I hope nobody don't get shot down here today. Man, I hope nobody don't try to carjack me. These are our prayers. You understand? We pray when we going in, we pray when we coming out. You understand? We are a destroyed people. We destroy because we following our oppressor. When you go out and vote, these are the things that come from voting. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that come from voting. When you vote, you put the notch in the belt of iniquity. You say, okay, yes, it's okay for you to pull me over and shoot me. Yes, it's okay for you to plant drugs on me. Yes, it's okay for my son and my daughter to go out and sell drugs. Yes, it's okay for my daughter to go out and be on the stripper pole. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. If stripping was so horrible and so wrong in this society, why is it so many places to strip out here? Because we are in Egypt. We are in Babylon. You understand? We are in Egypt all over again, or Babylon all over again. We are in iniquity. And like you said, when you vote, these are the things that you vote for. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that you say, yes, I'm for that. Everybody thinks, Oh, defunding the police, that's the only thing you vote for. Defunding the police. Well, no. You vote for a whole big clique. Defunding the police is only 1%. The other 99 are going to crack you right across the head. And on top of that, the police will never be defunded.
Right.
You understand? When President Trump told Ice Cube that he got $500 million? $500 million is going to go to funding the police. Well, we're gonna fund black neighborhoods, $500 million. Well, what's in black neighborhoods? Police. So where's that funding gonna come from? That money that he's saying he's giving the black neighborhoods, that's to go to the police. That's to go to the Arabs in your neighborhood. That's to go to the Chinese people in your neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? That goes to those cameras that they looking at you with. You understand? That's what goes in your neighborhood. You understand? Nothing goes to build up your neighborhood per se. It's only to destroy it. You understand? This is why we have to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Not following the laws, statutes, and commandments gets you destroyed. This is why we are destroyed people today. Let's go to let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's drop down to the 32nd verse.
Deuteronomy, say the whole verse.
Come on, sir. Just that 32nd verse.
Say the whole thing.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to me until another people.
It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. We give our sons and our daughters unto another people every day. When you send your son and your daughter out to learn under your oppressor, we give our sons and our daughters to another people. When you let them be educated by your oppressor, we give our sons and our daughters to another people. When you send your son or your daughter out that door to work under your oppressor, to only make $9 or $8 an hour, to work them to the bone and send them back home tired, you give your children, your sons and your daughters to another people. We do everything that we do, we give our sons and our daughters to another people. When we gotta leave out early in the morning and we don't come back home till late at night, and our sons and daughters are in the house by themselves, raising themselves, we're giving our sons and daughters to another people. When we're not giving them the love that we need to give them, we're giving them to another people. Because what happens? They go out there and find that love in the street. They find that friend in the street. They find those drugs in the street. They find that stripper pole in the street. You understand what I'm saying? We give our sons and daughters to another people. What you got?
Something I never thought about. I never thought about that. Being as old as I am, their sons and daughters are given to another people all their whole. Right. They're sold with other people.
Right. These are the things that we do. Because listen, when we are in captivity, and we have been in captivity so long that we don't even realize we're in captivity. We don't even realize that the system is set up to keep us in captivity. I've worked 2 and 3 jobs before and didn't have time to really interact with my son, to the point where I tried, but I was so tired that it was no doing. I worked that. You understand what I'm saying? I slept all day and just let him go outside and do his thing. You understand what I'm saying? So we do it unbeknownst to what's really happening. You understand what I'm saying? So then when our sons and our daughters get to a certain age and certain things happen, we look and say, God damn, what happened? not understanding that the system was built for us to give our sons and our daughters to other people. So when our sons and daughters, they die in these streets, we sitting there like, damn, I was there, and then you start thinking like, damn, I wasn't. Because the system had you from the beginning. Your mother and father gave you to another people. My mother and father gave me to another people. You understand what I'm saying? And the cycle goes on. And this is the reason why Isupkbmore, Islamic School of Universal Practical Knowledge, is the reason why we have these classes to teach our people. You understand? So that our people can stop depending on the oppressor and depend on us. You understand? When things happen in the neighborhood, just like the brother that got shot, his mother called the police. Unbeknownst, they were going to kill him.
You talking about the brother in Philly?
The brother in Philly. If she had called the Isupkbmore, we could have came in and we could have diffused the situation. Everybody could have been happy. Brother would have been alive. Stress level would have been dropped. And everybody would have went home happy. This is the reason why we have to police our own people. You understand? This is our army right here that we building right now. You build that army so that we can protect our people. In protecting our people, in protecting your people is telling your people what is happening to us. Understand? It is telling the oppressor, telling your people what the oppressor is doing to us. Those laws that they're doing is destroying us. This is what we do. Understand what I'm saying? So let's read that again. So thy son and thy daughter shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. What does that mean? Man, seeing your son locked up, you understand? You longing for him to come home. Man, I wonder when he's going to come home. My daughter run away, man, where is she going? I'll be glad. Man, it's nothing that you can do. You're longing for them all the day long. Man, I hope my son come home from his job and he's okay. Man, I hope my daughter come home from work and she's okay. We praying like, oh God, please let them get home safely. Understand what I'm saying? We are in captivity. This is what happens when you're in captivity. Listen, let's read it again, right? It says, thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. Listen. Nothing that we can do. You just hoping and praying for eyes of fail. Nothing that you can do for them. You understand? But just pray. That's what they do. That's what they teach us in the church. Oh, just pray. Everything gonna be all right. Everything gonna be all right. Just pray. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Listen. And there shall be no might in thine hand. What does that mean? There shall be no might in thine hand.
No salvation.
No, not that. There shall be no might. Listen, right? I'm going to give it to you like this. You try to lift something, but you just can't lift it because you got no might, no strength. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. There shall be no might in thine hand. You lifting weights so much, right? And then all of a sudden, those weights get so heavy that you can't do it no more. There shall be no might in thy hand. Listen, when your children are out there and they are going through things, it's nothing that you can do. When they get locked up, you can't go to the judge and make an appeal. The judge already got it out for you. There is no might in thine hand. You can't make a phone call like white people do and say, look, my son got to get off. There's no might in thine hand. White people pay to get their people out. You don't have that kind of power. That's the word right there, power. There's no power in your hand to help your children when they go out and they get into trouble and they get into all kinds of things. When the police have beat your child to death, There's nothing that you can do. When the police shoot your kid 14 times, there's nothing that you can do. You understand what I'm saying? Breonna Taylor, what can her family do? There's no might in their hand. Trayvon Martin's mother and father, what can they do? There's no might in their hand. You understand what I'm saying? We have no might. We have no might because we don't follow the law. We stay in iniquity. You understand? We continually sin against the Most High. We continually sin against the Most High. Slaps. Come. We continually sin against the Most High, and there is no might in your hand. You understand? We have to pay for our iniquity. We are cursed. We are a cursed people. We are a cursed people because we continually follow our oppressor. We continually get out there and vote. You understand? When they continually have laws like the doctrine of exclusion that says no slave or descendant of a slave or person or black person shall enjoy the fruits of white society. We have never enjoyed the fruits of white society. But you say, oh, what about LeBron James? If LeBron James makes the wrong move, he will be instantly poor. Look at what's his name? What's his name that said the thing about the Jews? About the Jews? What's his name? What's the young dude's name?
Cannon.
Nick Cannon. He made one comment. Now he's been making millions upon millions upon millions. He makes one comment and they cut him immediately. Right? Cut him immediately, so much so that he groveled back. After telling the truth, he groveled back to be up under the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? He is destroyed. You understand? All those Nick Cannon, LeBron James, Ice Cube, they are nothing but $1 million slaves. You got house niggas and you got field niggas. They just happen to be house niggas. We field niggas. You understand? We just field niggas. We can go out there and speak the truth and not have to worry about being ridiculed. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have that option. It looks good from the outside, but they are destroyed when you go in and look at it. They can't say what they want to say. You understand what I'm saying? They can't feel how they can't express their true feelings. You understand? For fear that I'm gonna lose everything I got. You understand? They said 50 Cent said he didn't want to get into that voting controversy because he didn't want his taxes to go up. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people. Go ahead.
Without having nothing, without this master, they have nothing. They have nothing but the master.
Right. Now listen. The Bible tells us, right, that if we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, we will be the head, they will be the tail. Bible says, Christ says, listen, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right? Everything that we have is in the power of God. Right here. Understand what I'm saying? If you remove yourself from them, if you did not marry into them, if you did not make covenants with them, we would be on top and they would be on the bottom. Think about this, right? Let's take the NFL. NFL is the NFL. Why? Because of us, so-called black, Hispanics, and natives, right? Think about this. Before they integrated into the NFL, every one of those white boys that played football had a second job after they played football. All of them had a second job. They had jobs that when they played football on Sunday, they worked somewhere on Monday. I remember watching old football clips and they were smoking cigars on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? smoking cigars on the sideline, because they had other jobs. Football wasn't making anything. Football was just a small time entertainment thing that you watched if you didn't have nothing else to do until we got there.
Tell them again,
Until we got there. Football was nothing until we got there. The same thing with baseball. You understand what I'm saying? Baseball, they had second jobs. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Shalaki, that's so heavy what you saying, because football was just like a couple of white boys playing in the mud. That's all it was.
Right.
Until black people got involved and grew the brand to $1 billion brand.
Exactly.
So now at the point where as though all of these white people are making so much money, and not only off of the entertainment, but off of the technology that brings it to your home, all of the vendors, all of the ISPs, internet providers that bring that internet and those games into your home.
Right.
But the people that draw the lines on the field, the people that maintain the field, the people that sell the hot dogs and the pizza and the hamburgers and the nacho chips, the people that construct the stadiums, the people that maintain the stadiums, all of these white people and white vendors are making millions upon billions of dollars off of the black athletes that are entertaining the white community. That's what we don't understand.
Exactly.
White people talk about LeBron James making millions of dollars. He's getting paid millions of dollars. He should just bounce the ball and shut up.
Right.
LeBron James is not contributing anything to the black community. There are no black vendors that take care of the hot dogs and the pizzas in that stadium.
Right.
There are no black vendors that take care of the technology in that stadium, the billboards, all of the internet providers. They're not taking care of all of this. All the people that stand there and do the commentating, it might be one or two black people, but most of them are white. All of those contracts are given to white people for the upliftment of the white community. The only thing black entertainers do is uplift the white community. That's what we need to understand. And that's why rich black people do not benefit our people as a whole, but rich white people benefit the white community. That's the difference.
Right.
That's the issue, and that's the problem that we need to be looking at. That was heavy, Salakia, go ahead.
Right. I mean, listen, like we said before, right? Listen, their community was nothing until we got it. You understand what I'm saying? We took what we had, and just like Officer Kawan said, we made their brand. We brought we gave the brand the name. Understand? NFL was nothing until we got there. These dudes is working second jobs. Football was a pass. That was just a hobby. You understand? That was a hobby. And then they realized that we could make money if we brought them in. And boom, that's where the boom started at. Let's go to verse 41. Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Let me know when you get there. But like I said, listen, none of these industries, listen. You ever heard that this is another thing where, and I don't want to get too far off, but this is another thing where they say where that puts enmity between so-called blacks and Hispanics. Just like when they say that Hispanics are taking all the jobs. Right? They say Hispanics are taking all the jobs, right? but they're shipping the Hispanics out of the country right now. But we don't realize that those jobs that they are paying, how can Hispanics, first of all, how can Hispanics take a job that was never offered to you? Not only that, the job that we are expecting to get $20 an hour for, they only paying the Hispanics $7.50.
That's right. That's right.
And I know this firsthand because a few years back, I worked at a packing company out just a part-time. And when I looked at one of their check stubs, I couldn't believe it. I say, how do y'all live off of that? You understand? But it's a whole bunch of them that live together. You understand what I'm saying? So what the European does is he puts enmity between us. So he makes it seem like that they taking all the jobs when he lowballing them, and then he tapping you on the shoulder saying, look at all of them with your job. When he knew he would never give you that job because you would never accept a job for $7.50. But an illegal immigrant would. Your brother from across the border would. You understand? So that's another thing that they do with us. And this is another thing that, like I said, with that emancipation, it's a shell game. You understand? Go ahead.
John, the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 41. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
You heard that? We were just talking about that. Understand? That's what we was talking about earlier. You shall not enjoy them. My oldest son, I enjoyed my oldest son. My youngest is the one I really didn't because I worked so much, 2 and 3 jobs just a few years ago. You understand what I'm saying? And they shall go into captivity. You gotta send them off to school. You gotta send them off to daycare. You gotta send them off to here. Oh, I gotta go to work, or you gotta go here, or you gotta stay at the rec center until I get there. I'm gonna come pick you up. And then once you get home, you get them in the house, and they say, Dad, let's talk about this, and then let me lay down and go to sleep.
Come on.
By the time I wake up, it's time for me to go to work.
Tell them out.
Go do the same thing over and over.
That's heavy.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's heavy.
Yeah. So these are the things that happen. Hey, listen, it happens to us all. You understand what I'm saying? But when you come into this ISUPK, they show us how to come up out of that. I spend a whole lot more time with my youngest now. You understand? He just turned 15.
Damn right. Give me a hand. Goddamn right. That's right.
But the only thing about that now is I'm trying to pull him away from his mom. You know what I mean? And because the oppressor had me in a bunch, he spent a lot of time with his mama. So he got mama tendencies. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the thing that destroyed. This is what it's taught like, thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them. They shall go into captivity. Even in being in a situation with his mama, and sometimes in the way she worked, he's still in captivity. You understand what I'm saying? Learning the wrong ways, and I'm trying to get him out of that. But this oppressor knows how to destroy it. This plan is good. You understand?
Damn right.
This plan is effective. But guess what's more effective than this plan?
That's right. That's right.
Like school, universal practice.
Damn right.
The commanding general in your honor.
Yeah.
You understand? This plan is stronger, and this plan is what's going to bring our people out. You understand? This is what's going to bring us into our heaven. You understand? This is what's going to bring us in slot. This is what's going to bring us into our heaven. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You want the rest of that verse?
I want to drop down to 43.
Come. Deuteronomy, verse 28. So like it won't say verse 28 and 43. God. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
There we go, right there, right? So the stranger that is within thee shall get up very high, and thou shalt come down very low. We want to intertwine and intermingle and intermarry with the heathen, with the other nations. They shall go up very high, and we shall come down very low. They shall be the head, and we shall be the tail. This is why we always want to add into everything. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we don't have our own supermarkets. This is the reason why we don't have our own car industry. This is the reason why we don't have our own schools. Even those historical black schools, they run by the heathen now. A lot of those black schools, you can go in there and you probably see an Arab or East Indian as the schoolmaster or whatever. You understand? What do they call it? What do they call the head
Truant
of
officer. Truant officer.
No. What do they call the head of a college?
Dean.
The dean. There you go. Deans are most of the time now in those historical black colleges are Arabs or East Indians. You understand? Or Africans or somebody like that. You understand what I'm saying? Or the oppressor.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't like when we had to open our own colleges, so it had to be black deans because they wouldn't let us come to their colleges. But when you intermarry and intertwine and intermingle, you give away everything that you got just to sit alongside of them. And that falls into Martin Luther King, integration. That falls into integration. You understand? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. This is our life right here. You know, we continually borrow, but we do not lend to anybody. We don't even have a purchasing power to lend to anybody. We don't even have our own banks. You understand? They say black banks, but it's always headed by some white man, some old white Jewish man. You understand? The banking system is run by the Jews. You understand? So when it comes down to currency like that, you always, at the end of the day, you got to go through the Jew. You understand? It's no such thing. I know what they say. It's no such thing as a black bank. Go ahead.
He shall be the head, and thou shall be the tail.
He shall be the head, and we shall be the tail. Just like that today, right? He's the head, and we the tail. Just like it always says. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
All these curses will come upon us. All these curses will come upon us because we don't follow laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? And with that, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. Been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is the so-called black, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called natives are the true Jews of the Bible. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And now I'm going to turn the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Halak. And with that, let me move out of his way.
Shalom, Lord Christ is real. Much love, much respect for all the brothers and sisters out there, man. We in the Isupkbmore love black people, man. You know what I'm saying? We put our lives on the line, and that's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. And this is what it's like, man. Check it. Security announcements. We are the Isupkbmore out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Hunter. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world after 6 months. If a brother or sister has an interest in a partner and a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission to marry. It takes 6 months, man. It takes 6 months to get to know a brother or sister, man. Look, you gotta be in this truth to get a true man, a black man that's gonna take care of his family, protect his family with his life. This is the only place you're going to find a black man that's going to take care of the family, that's going to hold true to the morals of black love, man. This is the only place you're going to find that.
That's right.
Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10. This is law. This is in the Bible. This is what you're supposed to do, black man. Means tenth in the Hebrew, and it's pronounced Ma'asharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, upcoming holy congregation. We still waiting on the Passover, man. The Lord's Passover is going to happen in New York, man. We're going to come together and we're going to celebrate the Lord. We're going to celebrate the death of our enemies. More importantly, the death of the children of our enemies. You understand me? That's just how barbaric this world is, man. That's how barbaric this world is, man. 30,000 black children a year are aborted, terminated, destroyed from the propaganda of white supremacy. I dare goddamn Negro to say there is a problem with wanting our enemies' children dead. Upcoming holy congregation, remind Akio, to check on social media such as Isupkbmore.com, YouTube, Twitter, and so on for Isupkbmore events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher men of Israel. I imagine Shabbat. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Class dismissed.
You want to hit this?
don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rapper knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two